Look at your hands. You use one of them for almost everything. Writing, throwing, scrolling. It feels completely natural, right? Like a choice you made. But it wasn't. Before you even had a name, before you took your very first breath, your brain had already locked in a decision that you could never undo. Roughly 1 in 10 humans is left-handed. That might just sound like a random piece of trivia, but here is the crazy part. That exact 10% ratio has not changed for at least 500,000 years. No human population, anywhere in the history of the world, has ever been mostly left-handed. And no other animal on Earth, not even chimpanzees, shares this massive one-sided bias. Doctors can actually watch it happen. Long before a baby is born, ultrasound scans show fetuses already favoring one hand to touch their mouths. Once that pattern clicks into place, it is permanent. But how do we know this goes back 500,000 years? We look at the bones. A lifetime of using your dominant arm actually changes your skeleton. The bone gets longer and denser. And when archaeologists dig up ancient human remains, exactly 10% of them show the telltale signs of a lefty. It goes even deeper. In a cave in Croatia, scientists found Neanderthal teeth from 130,000 years ago, covered in tiny diagonal scratches. They got those scratches from holding animal hides in their mouths while scraping them clean with stone tools. The angle of every single scratch reveals exactly which hand held the rock. And the fossil record screams the same answer over and over again: the right hand. Even cave paintings agree. Across Europe and Indonesia, ancient artists blew pigment over their hands to leave outlines on the stone walls. Almost all of those outlines are left hands, which means the hand holding the heavy pigment tube, the one doing the actual work, was the right. So you didn't choose this. But surprisingly, neither did your DNA. If you take identical twins with the exact same genetic code, about 1 in 4 of those pairs will have different dominant hands. Genetics does not make the final call. It just loads the dice. If both your parents are lefties, your chances of being one jump to 26%. But scientists are still hunting for exactly why this happens. Right now, the best scientific guess is a phenomenon called the right shift. Your brain is cross-wired. The left hemisphere controls the right side of your body, and the right hemisphere controls the left. But for 99% of right-handers, the left hemisphere is also the absolute boss of something else: language. There is a tiny patch in that left hemisphere that fires up specifically when you speak, and when you use tools. Hand control and language are roommates living in the exact same side of the brain. If you carry this right shift tendency, your brain parks both language and tool use on the left side, making you right-handed. But if you don't carry it, your brain never gets that strict instruction. It just picks a side by chance. Being left-handed isn't a special gene. It is simply the absence of the instruction to be right-handed. But this brings up a massive, glaring paradox. If being right-handed is our species' default setting, why do lefties still exist? If all our tools, from ancient scissors to modern school desks, are built for right-handed people, shouldn't the 10% have vanished by now? The answer to that is combat. Look at the greatest hitters in baseball history. Look at top-tier fencing, boxing, or mixed martial arts. In professional combat sports, left-handed fighters win significantly more often. Not because they punch harder, because they are rare. If you spend your whole life training against right-handed fighters, your brain gets hardwired to expect attacks from specific angles. Then, a lefty steps into the ring, and the entire geometry of the fight is mirrored. You hesitate for a fraction of a second. And in a fight, a fraction of a second is the difference between a knockout and a victory. This is the genius of evolution. When a trait is rare, it is a deadly advantage. But if too many people became left-handed, everyone would get used to it. The surprise factor would die. The reason lefties stay locked exactly at 10% is because it is the perfect evolutionary balance, just rare enough to be a secret weapon. For centuries, society tried to erase this. The Latin word for left is sinister. We used to force left-handed kids to write with their right hands, tying their arms behind their backs. But the brain never negotiated. The hand you naturally reach out with is a biological mandate older than human language itself. And if you are part of that 10%, you are not a glitch. You are the reason the rest of us still have to be ready for a punch we never saw coming.